You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show podcast on KPEL965.com.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pros studios. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
The conflict in the Middle East is center stage in New York. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The people of Lebanon, the people of Israel, and the people of the world cannot afford Lebanon to become another Gaza.
United Nations leader Antonio Guterres at the start of the UN General Assembly warning that conflict and climate change and deepening political divisions are a powder keg that could engulf the world. Later this hour, President Biden will address world leaders gathered at the UN.
To discuss the fighting in Gaza that's now expanded north to Lebanon and the war in Ukraine. A senior administration official says Biden has a solid story to tell as he wraps his administration, that he rallied the world to defend Ukraine, responsibly managed U.S. competition with China, and worked to secure a ceasefire deal between Hamas and Israel.
Fox's Rich Edson at the U.S. Now, that ceasefire he's referring to is last year. Attempts to get a new one for Gaza have failed, as Israel also battles Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon, and those militants keep firing rockets from Lebanon, where Israeli airstrikes continue in a barrage that's left nearly 560 people dead in Lebanon the last 2 days. Iran's president is expected to deliver an anti-American speech at that same UN gathering today. The day after a Trump rally in Pennsylvania, the former president will go to another toss-up state today, Georgia, with a focus on the economy.
We've heard him propose different forms of tax relief. Today, he's expected to talk about his plans to try and woo foreign companies to move to the U.S. Per a senior Trump advisor, some of the highlights include a 15% corporate tax for companies who make their product in the U.S., record low regulations, and a pledge to cut energy costs in half.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. The New York Times reports Vice President Harris may take a trip to the border Friday in Arizona. Republicans blame her in part for record illegal immigration. The Biden administration touts policies put in place this year, bringing illegal border crossings back to 2020 levels. America's listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's GetETA.
It's time to win cash. Get your KPEL News apps ready because here's your chance to win up to $30,000. Just enter the following code into your KPEL News app where it says win cash, and make sure you listen for more codes throughout the day because the more codes you enter, the better your chances. Here is your next code.
Your 9 a.m. code is 734. 734 is your code for 9 a.m. and your chance to win cash with News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Louisiana.
This message presented by the LHSAA and the Louisiana High School Athletic Directors Association. You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman to save money.
We need a new stuntman!
You just need feedthepig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Bikers Against Child Abuse empowers children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. For more information, visit BACAworld.org. Our helpline is 866-885-9474. BACA, breaking the chains of abuse.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% List Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hi, hello. Welcome, Moon Griffon Show on a terrific Tuesday. Great to have you with us. By the way, I never seen him make a prediction of where a hurricane's going to hit Walker before the storm was even formed. Yes, we already know. Anyway, all that craziness. Anyway, 844-766-6607 is the number. It's a Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. By the way, before we get to our great guest to talk about tax reform, Representative Tony Bacala is joining us. We do have Secretary of State Nancy Landry will be in the house, and she will join us at coming out of 9:30 break. So looking forward to it. That is the early part of the lineup. A lot of stuff to cover today, and I'm looking forward to visiting with you. So let's jump right into it. Representative Tony Bacala, nice enough to join us. Hey, Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing fine this morning, Moon. Good morning. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. I thank you for taking a few minutes this morning with us. I was excited. I had read a couple articles that, I know we got, quote, budget deficit coming, and I get it. And you're one of the guys trying to figure out how to get this fixed. And you've come up with a solution that you think will work, and you've come up with ideas. I know you probably out there telling people about them and see if we can do it. So that's why I invited you. I know you've been a guy that's tried to do some of this stuff in the past, but tell us what's going on. Tell us how you would fix it. What's your idea?
Well, Moon, I think the trick we have or the game plan is let's throw a lot of things out there and then let the body choose the ideas that they collectively most agree with. So really what we're trying to do individually and as a group is just identify the potential places where money could be saved. And I was asked to sit on the Appropriations Committee in the interim. I had 8 years experience with that in the past for hearings to look into some of this. And some numbers that we had with LDH were shocking, quite frankly. Last year we fought hard saying that they were asking for too much money. The Senate reduced their state general fund by $100 million, even though they said they couldn't handle that and they couldn't take care of. Well, this year, guess what? They're going to be returning something like $75 million in unspent state general funds. So basically, they were over budgeted last year. The current year budget is kind of built on those numbers, but we didn't have them soon enough. And I have to point out this is a budgetary year crosses the two administrations. Mm-hmm. So the last administration under Edwards requested that money, and now they're returning it under the Landry administration. Mm-hmm. That's one example. A couple others. They spent $111 million more in waiver services than they did the prior year. Don't know why. They increased payments to nursing homes from about $1 billion to almost $1.3 billion. Mm-hmm. So why did that have to go up so much? 1.25. I'm sorry. They increased it $247 million. They have something called Managed Care Incentive Program. They pretty much doubled that from, by $366 million. It went up. Now, to be honest, some of this money is federal money, some of it's state money, and you really can't identify which is which cleanly until we dig in a little bit more.
Well, you when you're looking at stuff like this, what do you think this would do, and why? And I guess why couldn't you cut some of this? Everybody knows the Department of Health and Health budget is the biggest budget by far in the state budget, Tony. Why is it so difficult to cut something? I'm just kind of curious. I mean, we had a budget pre-COVID, and the budget post-COVID is like we can't go back down to the budget of old because everybody started spending all this money. So that's my question. Looking at what you're looking at, why is this being looked at heavy or just by you?
No, I think a lot of people have taken an interest in this thing. We've called attention to it. And, the other kicker in this is during COVID, the federal government set down rules that nobody could be removed from the Medicaid rolls, whether you were eligible or not. If you were on it, you got to stay on it. If you got on it during the COVID period, you got to stay on it.
Okay.
So once those COVID rules expired, we reduced the Medicaid population from over 2 million to back to pre-COVID numbers, which is about 1 3/4. So we've dropped 300,000 people from the Medicaid rolls, and yet their budget ask continues to rise.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense. If you're serving 25% less people, you shouldn't be going up by 10% in the cost.
Well, Tony, this is Tony Bacalao, Representative Bacalao, my special guest, trying to figure out this expense. This is what they do all over the country. I mean, we had a pre-COVID budget and the national budget. Now we're spending more money than God allows. And states and local governments have done it too, especially the federal government. But I think you've stumbled on something if they're willing to listen. Because if you and that's what we always say, like the public school system. And I'm all for a public school system, so let me not cross hairs here. I am. I think you need one. But if you got 10, 20, 30, 50,000, 100,000 less students, whatever the number is, why do you have to keep having more money? You see what I'm saying? All this stuff could be adjusted, but nobody wants to do it. You got to have willpower to do it because I know the agencies are going to freak out and the media is going to jump in there to help them. But I think y'all can make the case why we can cut what you're talking about. I think your plan of what you want them to look at, I know it's not I'm not saying you're saying it's a plan, but it's something you think we need to look at.
No doubt. I mean, it could be one of the component pieces to meeting our constitutional requirements for a balanced budget and doing it in a smart way, which is not spending non-recurring dollars on recurring expenses.
Yep.
But and really it's about efficiency. And the efficiencies, kind of the way I define efficiency is you're reducing your expenditures without cutting services. And I think that's really our goal right now is to make sure that our services we continue to provide vital services, but at a more efficient spending rate.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. One of the things that you put in the article that I read, and there was a couple of them, LDA spent an estimated $100 million on advertising. Why are they spending so much money on advertising? $100 million. That sounds like that's way out of whack.
Well, here's why. This is what the reason given was. As we came out of post-COVID, we went back to doing real eligibility checks. Mm-hmm. And part of the eligibility check is they mail you a letter and you have to reapply basically to show that you're still eligible. It's obviously it's a financial earnings. How much you make determines if you're eligible. And that advertising campaign, according to what we were told, was to make sure that people answered those letters. So that's the reason that I'm not saying it was right or wrong. I'm just saying that was the reason that it was done.
Yeah.
But we're past that, and again, that $100 million, mostly it was federal dollars. So that's not like we can save $100 million, but we might be able to save $20 or $30 million.
No, I understand that, but there's some real savings there. That's all I'm saying, and it's got to be looked at. I'm glad you brought. This reminds me of Katrina. We had a pre-Katrina budget and a post-Katrina budget. When we got to the post-Katrina budget, because we didn't go back to pre-Katrina, it caused us $1 billion deficit. Okay, so if we go back to pre-COVID, okay, then we ought to not have a problem with the deficit. And yet we won't go back on anything that we already spent in money. And I think that becomes the problem for government. But then the problems turn into the problem for the people, because the first thing happens is we got to raise a penny sales tax and a 0.45 cent sales tax for 7 years. Now we can't get rid of it. So that's why I bring this up to you, is because it looks like to me the pre-COVID budget would have been better goal than the post-COVID budget, because I don't think our state can handle a post-COVID budget, because it's going to mean more taxes on the people. That's just, am I wrong about that assessment?
Well, I think at the end of the day, of course, I'm just one vote, right?
It don't matter. You got the plan. You got a good plan.
Well, but at the end of the day, I think there's a real desire that we don't add additional tax burden to the citizens of Louisiana, that we find ways to continue to provide the services that we're providing, and through efficiencies, we do it cheaper. Now, you bring up a good point. Hurricane Katrina was obviously
devastating.
This devastating, but it also, what it brings is everybody that's got to repair a house is spending money they didn't spend last year. Mm-hmm. So it creates a real bump in state revenue, and the mistake that was made post Katrina is that we completely rewrote the taxes and reduced a lot of taxes because all this Katrina money was coming in. But when the Katrina money dried up, then Governor Jindal was faced with a real crisis and started basically paying for recurring expenses with non-recurring funds. Mm-hmm. Now, we're sort of in the same predicament now.
I think so, too.
Yeah, I mean, we've had several hurricanes the last few years, and some of them were quite bad, but they created revenue bumps. And honestly, when the legislature gets money, they're going to spend it. Some of us tried to stand in the way of that. I mean, we had 19 of us tried to hold strong. We didn't prevail. But another side note to that is this artificial bump in revenue, a temporary bump in revenue, could cause us to hit some revenue triggers that would automatically reduce taxes, but it's not long-term sustainable. That when those things were contemplated, the triggers, it never contemplated these one-time increases that really aren't going to be sustained. Yeah. And if that happens, we could be looking at a significantly larger budget deficit. Mm-hmm. So we need to make sure that we're aware of that and working toward solving that issue too.
It seems like me, if we can't do some cuts, we're in trouble. Hey, you got a few more minutes, 6-7 more minutes?
I do.
Okay, let me do this, Tony. Let me take a quick break because I got to take this break, come back with 6-7 minutes. Tony Bacalao, Representative Bacalao, great plan. By the way, there's a story on it on the Hayride. It's worth you reading about really looking at savings. We can't ever cut government, but boy, we can take money from people. Anyway, let me take a break. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. When you think about how you'll spend your money in retirement, what comes to mind? Probably travel, sunny beaches, and spoiling your grandchildren. But a recent survey found that over 30% of every dollar a retiree spends goes to taxes. Baby boomers were told for years to save money in their IRAs and 401ks and pay taxes later. Well, now that day has arrived, and boomers are shocked to see a third of their money going back to Uncle Sam. John Blanchard and the Matthew James Financial Group can help. What if you could? Protect all or most of your retirement wealth from future tax rate increases. Achieve a zero or near zero effective tax rate for most of your retirement years. Find out more. 337-366-8366. Isn't it time you got a second opinion on your wealth and retirement outlook? Learn how you could potentially kick the IRS out of your IRA. 337-366-8366 and online at MatthewJamesBusiness.com.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's termite season. Did you know termites are responsible for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah. Folks, you heard us talking about Raging Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning, and Raging Cajun delicious line of gumbo, black-eyed peas, shrimp and grits, jambalaya, seafood bisque, etouffee, red beans, roux, jalapenos. Raging Cajun's products are made right here in Acadiana now. Thanks to all of y'all, Raging Cajun is one of the fastest-growing brands in grocery stores. Raging Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning. Forget the rest, ask for the best. Ask them for that Raging Cajun. It's good, folks. Trust me. I love it. You will, too.
Everywhere you
Hi, hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to be with you. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline, joined by Representative Mr. Bacala, Tony Bacala, who's a representative of Baton Rouge area. I hope I'm saying that right, Tony. You know, I grab these representatives all over the place, and I sometimes forget where y'all from.
Yeah, I represent a portion of Ascension Parish, kind of Dutchtown, Prairieville, Geismar region.
Yeah, that's why I say Baton Rouge area, because that's the area.
Right outside of Baton Rouge.
Tony, what bothers me is, you know, I'm a guy that didn't want the 0.45. Here's my problem, and you can address it, you there. We did the 1 cent, and I know y'all were lied to about the $2 billion budget deficit. Nobody's ever proven that to me. But anyway, let's get past that. But the 0.45 bothered me worse because it was a bigger tax over a longer period of time. So here's what Louisiana does. Maybe you can address it. You know, we had a sales tax back in the day, and we turned the sales tax into the Stelly income tax, okay? And that went 18 years. Now we got a tax basically going to be on the books for push 10 years. And we're going to turn that into another tax of some sort. And that's the one that bothers me. The 0.45 should have never, ever been voted on, but it was. So now instead of getting rid of something that never should have been there, now we need it. So now we got to either keep it or replace it. That's the kind of little things that we do in Louisiana that really gets under my skin, because I'm going, why did we ever pass the tax anyway? They had all this money coming in, and we had all this money from hurricanes and floods and 2016 flood, which was horrendous. We had all this money coming in, and we're still raising taxes. And so I'm just kind of curious, what do you think happens with that, and why do we keep putting temporary taxes, which end up being a permanent tax, either that tax or something else? So we're trying to replace a half a billion dollars with a tax that should have never been on the books, but since it's been there all the time, now we got to keep it. You see my point?
No, and listen, I think that what happens is you become addicted to those additional dollars. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'll point out that in 2022 and 2023, I authored bills to reduce that 0.45, to start weaning us off of it gradually. And those bills made it all the way through the House. They died in Senate committee. But
as usual,
there are some people that started recognizing a long time ago that we needed to anticipate the expiration and take action and take steps such that we did not, there was not even being contemplated that it would be renewed. Now, I don't know that it'll be renewed, and I can tell you that the Speaker of the House, the President of the Senate, and the Governor's office is working diligently to make sure that we restructure this tax structure we have, and that I think what we would like to see is taxes certainly not to increase. That's off the table, and hopefully we'll reduce the tax burden. Now, keep in mind that when you combine the state and local tax burden, Louisiana's in the middle of the pack. I believe we're 27th. But when you look at the tax structure, we're rated near the bottom at number 40. So we really need to use the opportunity that this discussion we're having about taxes, that we address both of those. both the tax rate, combined state and local, and the tax structure, so that we really start fixing Louisiana.
Yeah, you not only got that battle going on, but you got the insurance side battle. So people talk about cost of living, but if you don't, you got to do that. But we got to do something about the car insurance and liability insurance. I mean, it's eating us up. When people talk about us being in middle of the road in taxes or not too bad in taxes, I kind of laugh at that because people over here, when they go to another state, they don't send their kids to private school. They don't have the sales tax burden that we have, which is the highest in the country. And then they don't have the insurance burdens. So that's a big swing in money. Plus, if you go to a state with no income tax. So it's kind of a lot of stuff that has to happen for us pretty quickly.
And I'll be honest, man, what I'm hearing from, there is some talk about lowering and flattening both the personal and corporate income taxes. Mm-hmm. And that's some real study going on. And that's, look, I'm kind of more in tune with the spending side than the tax policy side, but certainly I know enough to listen to smart people and hear the arguments and try to make an educated decision when it comes time to vote.
Yeah.
But let me give you an example of just where we could immediately pick up $600 million.
Tony, I hate to cut you, but I gotta take a break, and I got Nancy Landry coming on. Let's me and you do this. Let's try to get together as soon as we can again, and I'll put you back on because I do want to hear your plan. I really do.
Not my plan. It's the plan, basically coming out of the governor's office, the speaker's office, but I can speak to it a little bit.
All right.
But anyway, certainly we'll make an appointment to do this again.
All right. Thank you, sir. God bless. Appreciate you. All right. We'll take a break. Be right back. With 5 locations, I always make it a point to visit Superior Grill. I love the food there. It's authentic Mexican food with a Louisiana twist. That menu has all your favorites: nachos, quesadillas, enchiladas, tacos, fajitas, hand-cut steaks, and the best margaritas in the state. You go to Superior for lunch or dinner, and folks, you're going to thank me for it. My lovely bride and I eat at Superior Grill every chance we get. They're on Line Avenue in Shreveport, Government Street, and Holland Road in Baton Rouge, and they're on St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans. But look, their new location in Lafayette is now open. Lafayette, you've been clamoring for it, and now they are open on College Saloon. I want to see Superior Grill packed with folks from Acadiana. The best Mexican food with a Louisiana twist is found at Superior Grill. Shreveport, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans, and now Acadiana on College Saloon in Lafayette. This is Moon Griffon. I will see you at Superior Grill. This is Moon Griffon talking about another great Louisiana company, Hudco Roofing. Louisiana has some pretty crazy weather at times. Torrential rains, gusty winds, especially up north, hail, and of course, hurricanes. You got to remember your roof protects everything, you and your family and most of your possessions. And that's where Hudco Roofing comes in. These folks aren't just your average roofers. They're the #1 roofing company in the state. Whether you need a repair or a brand new roof, Hudco Roofing has you covered. Hudco is a CertainTeed Select shingle master and takes every roof all the way down to the decking to make sure there's no hidden damages. Hudco Roofing is also a state certified installer of the Fortified Roofing System. And that's a big deal, especially during hurricane season. Hudco specializes in residential and commercial roofing systems and coatings. Anywhere in Louisiana, you can get a free roof inspection and quote from Hudco Roofing. So go to HudcoRoofing.com. This is Moon Griffon. I trust Hudco Roofing of Louisiana, and so can you.
Support local.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% List Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you back with us. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. You can email me also, moon@moongriffon.com. We're honored to have the Secretary of State. First time in visit since she's been Secretary of State, Nancy Landry. Nancy, good to see you. Yeah,
Thank you, Moon.
You haven't been in here. You
I know. I haven't been. This is my first time to visit you in person, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me on.
So what are you doing right now? You with the election right around the corner, of course, for us is a November, December runoff, and there's election stuff. You just kind of getting the word out.
I'm traveling the state, actually, meeting with local election officials and spreading the word about how safe and secure our elections are in Louisiana so that voters can know that they can vote with confidence come November 5th.
Yeah, there's always going to be questions about that. I've already gotten a call. This is the question for you. I'm going to put that ahead of anything else I want to ask you. Are we sweeping the voter rolls like we're supposed to? So go back and explain about how people are removed from the voter rolls, because I think if you can explain it, people can understand it a little better, because that was a question that was before you even walked in the door. I got this little birdie in my ear, but go ahead.
So we have a process, and it's actually required under federal law, where we do what's called an annual canvass that allows us to verify voters who have moved and filed a change of address with the post office. And this past legislative session, we had a package of bills. We called it our election integrity package. And I'm happy to say that we passed the legislature passed all 11 bills, and our new governor signed all of them into law. So it's very refreshing to have a governor who prioritizes election integrity. And one of those bills was a bill that gives us additional tools to clean our voter rolls even more. And if you recall, it was Les Farnham's bill. He passed it 3 times in the past, and 3 times the previous governor vetoed it. So this time it was signed into law. This will give us additional tools to clean up our voter rolls, so we'll be able to verify voters who haven't voted in 10 or more years, and we're really excited about that.
That's what I was going to ask you. So it's 10 or more years. It's when you say, I want people to realize something. You're not going around looking for certain people to kick off. There are parameters that you have to work through. What are some of those? I know it's in 10 years. You mentioned 10 years. Is that the only parameter? Is it 10 years, or is there anything else?
There are other things, like if they move and we have reason to believe that they've moved, like they filed a change of address form with the post office. If we have any, reports that somebody has moved out of state or anything, we can also investigate that, and if we can confirm it, we can move them to the inactive rolls. But we don't immediately remove a voter. They're moved to the inactive rolls, and then the federal law requires us to wait 2 federal election cycles, and if they don't vote in 2 federal election cycles, then they can be canceled.
I'm just curious. So let's say I move to Mississippi, and a lot of people would like for me to move, but I moved to Mississippi. But all I do is register in Mississippi. I don't do anything else. How does that work back in Louisiana? And I registered in Jackson, Mississippi, wherever I moved.
Right.
That's and I never worry about, because, well, let me give you an example. I left Monroe to come to Lafayette, as you know, and that was 10 years ago. Well, I went to change my driver's license. When I did, they said, hey, do you want to? I said, I'm already registered to vote, but I need to change that too. So it was real easy. I did that. But how does that work if I went to Mississippi? How do you know?
Well, that's a great question, and we have actually entered into agreements with bordering states, and so we share anonymized data. And we and our registrars of voters, if there's a match on there and a voter has moved and registered in another state, our registrars will then investigate that, and if they find that that voter has moved, they then move them.
But I guess there's no way to do it 100%, because somebody could move. Let's be blunt. I'll move in October the 30th, and the election is November the 5th.
Right.
It's hardly no way to.
There are some blackout times when people can vote in their previous district if they move at the last minute, and that's allowed. But we do have parameters. We can't do a canvass like I mentioned earlier within 90 days of. But
is there any other real parameters in this, or it's just basically you get moved aside after missing 2 federal elections?
It's that's the basic procedure. Is you get moved to the inactive list, and then you're canceled if you don't vote.
I got one hard one for you.
But we also do death indexes.
That was the next one.
So, yeah.
How do you do when somebody's died, because everybody left with the dead people vote in Louisiana, which is not true.
Right.
But there was a time maybe it was true. But no, I'm just asking, how does that work? How do you find out somebody's actually passed away?
We get information from the Department of Health and the Social Security Death Index, and we have to match certain number of data
So y'all
points.
get information every day, basically,
We
every
do.
week or month.
We
Okay,
do.
okay.
And Governor Landry also signed an executive order recently that now allows us to get additional information from the OMV, the Office of Motor Vehicles, on citizenship status of some, and we had not had access to that data in the past. So we're very grateful to Governor Landry for giving us access to that information.
Here's a big one too. So we got elections coming up, and I got to bring up one topic, and the topic is new voting machines. We should have, before you became the Secretary of State, we should have had new voting machines. There was the process. Kyle had did everything. I know people freaked out, but there was a process. And then Edwards and Jay Darden, more than Edwards, I guess, are together. They decided not to go with the bidder that bid, and now we've had to start the process. Can you tell us where we are with, quote, new voting machines?
Sure, and getting a new system is one of my top priorities as Secretary of State. We are in 24 years into this century, and we're still using a system from last century. So we can't get the parts for those machines anymore, and we really want a new system that creates a paper record, that a record that can be used to verify the tabulation of the machines, and that the voter can verify the accuracy of their vote. And that's the kind of system that I would like to see us get. We had some steps added to the process in 2021 with Act 480 of 2021. The legislature added steps to it. We are working our way through those steps now, and the first thing that we had to do was create state standards. So we are near the end of that, going through the APA process and issuing state standards for the new system.
Do you think we'll have a new system in time for the next governor's race?
I don't know. It's hard to tell because we have these new steps and we're not sure how long they're going to take, but we're hoping to have the RFP issued by sometime in 2025.
Okay, so why? I'm just curious. Why is the process taking so long? I'm just curious. Do you have an answer for why it takes so long? Because it seems to take that's an awful long process to get voting machines. We had everything done 2 or 3 years ago, and Edwards and them shot it down.
Right.
Just because I'm curious. Why
it just normally takes a long time just because you have to follow all the steps in the law and follow all the procurement laws and make sure you do everything right. But Act 480, like I said, added some additional steps. And so we're want to make sure that we follow the law to the T because we don't want anything to happen with this one and have this RFP set aside. So we're trying to make sure we do everything right as we go, and we hope to have one by the next governor's race.
This would be the next question. Would be: is there many places to go get voting machines from, or is it only a couple places? Forget names. Are there more than 2 or 3 people that bid on this?
There are probably 5 or 6.
Probably not many,
maybe
but I know
even more than that. And we're working on what we want to see and what our voters want to see in a new system, and we're going to make the specifications geared towards what our voters want. And we're used to having fair, accurate, and safe elections here in Louisiana. We rank in the top 10 in the nation. We have a lot to be proud of, and we want to continue that and make sure that not only do we continue to be in the top 10, but we want to be number 1 in the nation in election integrity.
Secretary of State Nancy Landry, take a quick break, come back, and let her talk a little bit more about the election, some dates. Of course, everybody knows the presidential election, but you know what? You say that it's the first Tuesday in November. What the actual date is, I couldn't even tell you. I'm a vote. I like to vote election day, early voting, all that stuff. We'll be back. Nancy Landry, Secretary of State. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. With Mr. Summer Heat here. Let's talk about your AC. You're looking for a reliable, locally owned company that you can trust? Call Adapt Concepts AC and Heating. They have been serving all of Acadiana, the surrounding area, and the Gulf of Mexico for over 6 years. For your home or business, Adapt Concepts AC and Heating has you covered with certified technicians specializing in everything from residential to large commercial HVAC systems available 24/7. These guys are focused on providing professional quality work and ensuring customer satisfaction every step of the way. You want the professionals? You want the best? This is them. Don't miss this summer special. 0% financing, up to $3,000 off qualifying high-efficiency equipment. Not only that, they will throw in a free 12-year part and labor warranty. That's right, 12 years part and labor. Wow. Don't you want to know more about them? Call them at 337-408-8202. That's 337-408-8202. Or go to the website, adapt-ac.com. That's adapt-ac.com. I've been telling you about Schumacher Homes for a long time. Now, for a limited time, you can choose from 5 different financing offers and pick one that works best for you. Whether you're an active duty, military, or veteran, you can take advantage of the exclusive VA construction loan offer. You can lock in 30-year fixed financing for as low as 3.875. How about that? Looking to stay in your home and start construction right away? A stay-in-your-home loan might be right for you. With this option, you can stay in your home during construction and not worry about moving twice. And for you first-time home buyers, we're not going to forget you. For a limited time, they're offering 30-year fixed financing as low as 3.875. Other financing offers include no-cost refinancing, conventional loans, and FHA construction loans. If you're thinking of building your dream custom home, there's no time like the present to start building. SchumacherHomes.com. SchumacherHomes.com. Let them build your dream home. They're building dream homes one at a time.
Here is another.
Hi, hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show, Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline, or you can email me, moon@moongriffon.com. Secretary of State Nancy Landry talking about voting, elections right around the corner. All right, what's the 4 Ps that you talk about?
So we have what we call the 4 Ps of election security in Louisiana, or election integrity. And we want people to know that they can vote with confidence in Louisiana. And it's because of these 4 Ps. And they're the people, the policies, the procedures, and the physical security of our equipment. And the people refers to the fact that only our employees ever touch our machines, and the clerks of court and the registrars of voters. We program them and we do the maintenance on them. Our policies include voter ID laws, and you have to show a voter ID to vote in Louisiana. And our procedures include sealing and testing our equipment in a public meeting before every election. And then the physical security includes the fact that our machines are never, ever connected to the internet, and they're kept under lock and key.
So you answered some questions people want, but I got one for you.
Okay.
Nancy's going, I knew you was going to have one. But it is one with a lot of illegals here. A lot of people worry about illegals voting. And I'm going to go to the driver's license thing, because if you get, we honor driver's license. Trust me, I've been put over to Texas. I've been put over to Georgia. Trust me. We honor that. Somebody moves from California who's illegal, but they get a driver's license. They move their family here. They flop their driver's license down. Say, I want to change my address. I want to register to vote. How does that work? What do y'all do for that? Because that's a concern for me and a lot of other people.
Right. We've tried to get information from OMV in the past, and we're told that we didn't have access to that information. But I'm happy to say that the new governor, Governor Landry, has now ordered that we get access to information that the OMV has about who is a non-citizen and who is not. So in Louisiana, you cannot get a driver's license if you're an illegal alien. You can only get a driver's license if you're here legally, and then it's a certain kind of driver's license.
So if you come from New York, California, where they're just letting everybody go, they just can't come in there and say, we're just going to honor it. That's not happening.
That's my understanding of what is. And now we have access to the list of people who have temporary driver's license who are here legally, but they're not citizens. And we're making sure we're working that list to make sure that none of those people are registered to vote and none of them are voting.
Yeah, it came up the other day because one of the things that came up in Louisiana was, and you may or may not can answer this, but I'm going to ask it, is that you cannot ask somebody at the DMV if you're legal or you're a citizen or not. In other words, you can't ask for proof of citizenship. If you can, I'm going, well, if you get a driver's license, you see the complication of what I just asked you? That's what concerns me. But you can't say, give me a proof of citizenship.
I'm not sure what the rules are for the DMV, but the legislature passed a law this session. It was Senator Fazie's bill that will allow my office to ask for proof of citizenship, and that law takes effect next year. So for 142 years, we required proof of citizenship when registering to vote. And we asked for that authority back, and the legislature gave it to us. Yes, I mean we have I think estimates of 8 million people here illegally now, and so it's more of a problem now than it's ever been. And we want to make sure. And I had a press conference with the governor and AG Liz Murrill a few weeks ago, and we locked arms on this issue, and we pledged to our constituents that we are going to do everything that we can to make sure non-citizens in Louisiana are not registering to vote or voting, because both of those things are illegal in Louisiana. Yeah. You cannot register to vote, and you may not vote in Louisiana if you are a non-citizen.
It's illegal, but you know how it is, Nancy. If you're not enforcing it, it don't matter.
Right. And
no matter what the law says if you doesn't enforce it. I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying in general.
We are going to enforce it, and if a non-citizen votes, they could be deported. And so it's a very serious offense.
Don't deport them. Put them in jail, because if you deport them in our country, they're coming right back. All right.
So, we plan to enforce it.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about election dates, the Go app, which y'all answered some questions off the air, but I'm going to let you talk about it on air, and the dates for this year's election with early voting and things, because it's changed this year with the federal elections compared to the state election. We vote on a Tuesday, not on a Saturday. So
correct.
Talk a little bit about that.
So Election Day, of course, is November 5th, Tuesday, November 5th. Early voting starts October 18th and runs through the 29th. We have 10 days of early voting now for presidential elections, but not on Sundays. So it's the 18th through the 29th, but not on Sundays. And the last day to register to vote, for those of you who need to change your registration or update it, is October 7th in person or through the mail, and October 15th online. So make sure you register to vote by October 7th in person, October 15th online, and early voting starts the 18th, runs through the 29th.
All right. Talk about the Go app, the Go Vote app, because we spell it a little different here.
Right.
Number one, and number two is, though, I was asking y'all questions. The gentleman over here was talking about all the stuff that's in the app that you can get your questions answered.
Right.
Pretty simple.
We have an award-winning mobile app called the Go Vote app, and that's GEAUX Vote app. And it's a wonderful app. It tells you where to vote, how to vote, not who to vote for, but but where to vote.
By the way, send them to me. I'll be glad to help them out.
And it has your sample ballot, actually, and sample ballots are available now. And you just put your name in and a little bit of identifying information to identify you, and it'll pull up your sample ballot for you. And you can actually take that into the voting booth with you, so you can remember how you wanted to vote. For some of us who forget when we get in there or need to refresh our memories. And
by the way, the question I asked you earlier, and the gentleman over here answered was, "I don't know my precinct," and I don't. I tell people I don't know my precinct. I don't care about all that stuff. But he said, it's simple. You put your name, you put your birth date and all that, and he'll give you your precinct. And it ain't like we got a lot of special information you got to put in.
Right. It gives you your precinct where you vote on Election Day. It'll also tell you where you can vote early voting, and gives you the sample ballot, which is very, very helpful. So everybody loves our Go Vote app, and I encourage all of your listeners to go and download that app and put it on their phone so they can have it.
You visit the clerk of courts. They got to be ready for an election. I mean, they're probably I'm not saying you're not, but they are so into the election, precinct by precinct, parish by parish. They're the ones that have a lot on their shoulders, because they got to make sure it goes right for their area.
Right. The parish clerks of courts or the parish chief election officer. So I've been going around the state now. I've been to 5 different areas of the state. This is my 5th visit, and I'm meeting with Clerk of Court Louis Perrette today. and Charlene Moe, the Registrar of Voters, and just, finding out if they have any questions before the big day and listening to their feedback and just kind of spreading the word that our elections are great in Louisiana and when we can vote with confidence.
Do you know one of the clerks of court named Brian Lestage?
Oh, yeah, Brian.
Beauregard Parish?
Yes.
Don't tell him this because nobody wants to know that's my brother-in-law.
Oh, really? Okay.
And Brian,
yes, I know Brian.
Brian says that I got to cringe sometime mentioning your name, but he said, I ain't denied you yet. And I thought, well, let's see if Nancy would deny him real quick on the air. He might call and curse me, so why you had to say that?
Well, I have not been to visit him yet, but we've been all around the state.
He's my only family member, and he's a brother-in-law. That's a family member that's actually an elected official that I know of. So he's it. My daddy was a police juror for one term, and he had all he can handle. But I will tell you this: my grandfather in Iberville Parish, and you got to go back in the '60s and early '70s, was Bobby Griffin, and Bobby was beaten by Jesse Uso many moons ago. And I remember being a little kid in the campaign. He was a sheriff, I think, 4 terms in Iberville Parish.
Oh wow!
Other than that, I don't know if anybody political in my family.
Wow!
So I do have a little political blood in me, not much, but a little bit.
Do you give them a hard time too? Like
I told them that, of course, my dad's passed away, my grandfather's been passed away. My little brother ran for police jury and got beat by a few votes, and I gave him hell. I would love to give him hell. I ain't messed with the clerks a whole lot. Brian kind of asked me to stay off of them, but I don't always listen to him.
Well, I'm listening to him too. I'm going around the state and hearing if they have any questions about any of the new laws. We have great new election integrity laws passed by our new legislature, which it is really a new day in Baton Rouge.
GoVote.com.
GoVote.com. And you can find out voter information. And we encourage everyone to get their information about elections from trusted sources. And that is Secretary of State, your clerk of court, your registrar of voters, and the GoVote app.
And the GoVote app does not tell you how to vote, but if you listen to me or call a program, I'll be glad to help a brother out. Nancy,
it'll
thank
tell
you.
You where and when.
Thank you, Nancy. All right, we got to go. We'll be right back. For News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pro Studio.
It's his last time in the spotlight on the world stage. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
My fellow leaders, let us never forget, some things are more important than staying in power.
And that got President Biden an ovation at the United Nations General Assembly a short time ago. He also reiterated his support for Ukraine against Russian leader Vladimir Putin's invasion.
He set out to destroy Ukraine, but Ukraine is still free. He set out to weaken NATO, but NATO is bigger, stronger, and more united than ever before.
The president also called for peace amid a growing conflict in the Middle East, still pushing for a ceasefire in Gaza.
To deal with the ongoing threat posed by Iran. Together we must deny oxygen to its terrorist proxies.
Now, Iran's president may give an anti-American speech at that same UN gathering today in New York as the militants they back, Hezbollah, continue to face an Israeli bombardment trying to stop rocket attacks into Israel. The strikes have killed more than 550 people. Fox's Jonathan Savage reports.
Lebanese officials say dozens of children have died since Israel began an intense campaign of airstrikes on Monday, and Israel has urged innocent Lebanese to get away from buildings where Hezbollah stores weapons. Government spokesman David Menser says their operation is in American interests too.
Some of these Hezbollah leaders that we have eliminated have American blood on their hands. They have the blood of U.S. Marines from the 1980s.
It doesn't have a name yet, but it will soon. Helene, expected to be a hurricane.
Hurricane and tropical storm watches are now up along Florida's coast of the Gulf of Mexico from south of Tampa Bay up past Tallahassee.
Fox's Evan Brown in Broward County.
Forecasters at the National Hurricane Center feel it will reach major status or Category 3 by the time the storm center makes landfall.
2 deaths are reported in Mexico after Hurricane John came ashore from the Pacific Ocean. It's now a tropical storm. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before. And now in 2024, the trend is accelerating. Why? Because central banks have lost faith in the dollar. And in these uncertain times, gold is the ultimate safe haven. If you too are worried about the dollar, I urge you to take similar action by diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax-advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message. Court-appointed special advocates, or CASA, are specially trained volunteers that help secure safe homes for abused and neglected children. Don't let these innocent victims slip through the cracks of our complicated legal system. Get involved today. Call CASA at 268-5111. This nonprofit organization moment brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Timeout. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the LHSAA and the Louisiana High School Athletic Directors Association.
It's time to win cash. Get your KPEL News apps ready because here's your chance to win up to $30,000. Just enter the following code into your KPEL News app where it says win cash, and make sure you listen for more codes throughout the day because the more codes you enter, the better your chances. Here is your next code.
Your code for a chance to win cash is 399. Your 10 a.m. code is 399. Enter that code into the KPEL app now.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hello, welcome back. Microphone Show, 844-766-6607. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program. All righty, so let's move on. And what I've said they would start doing, they are doing now on a national level with some of their superstars. Democrat Party and certain people in the Democrat Party and the leftists and people that hate this country, I was just waiting for them to start this. And now, because Kamala Harris is such a bad candidate and they want her to win because she can finish transforming America, so what do you think they're going to start doing? It's exactly what I knew they would start doing. This is what they start doing. It's the only thing in the playbook. And the racism now of people voting for Trump or racist has started. And Oprah Winfrey really takes the cake. I'll play her comments in just a second. But everybody that knows anything about pop knows who Juan Williams is. He's a Fox contributor. He writes, and he's real racial. He's real anti-white. So Juan Williams wrote a piece. Trump is at 48%. How could this be possible but for, you ready, widespread racism? And boy, he just buries you and me. And this is about you and me. This is not about Trump. This is about making people feel guilty and really is calling you and me names and things that we're not. I'm a lot of things. I fail in a lot of things. I wish I was the best man in the world, but I'm not. I ain't a racist. I ain't been a racist all my life. I'm not a racist now, and I'm voting for Donald Trump. And I have no problem because I look at Kamala's policies, just like I looked at Obama policies. There were policies that were suited for Marxist communist countries. They're not suited for America. But I gotta listen and be insulted. And I'm not insulted because I think Juan Williams is an idiot and Oprah Winfrey is too. And I don't care how much money they're worth. And they're not idiots because they're black. They're idiots because of what they say and think. Juan Williams, at this point, the racism is obvious. Who else does it make sense that 48% of registered voters in last week's Fox News poll said they have no problem putting Donald Trump back in the White House? I'm one of them. So see, now I'm being called a racist because I'm going to vote for Donald Trump because I don't think anybody that's going to bring this country and transform this country into some kind of socialist, Marxist, communist utopia ought to be elected dog catcher. I don't care what color skin. If this was my daddy, God bless my old daddy, I wouldn't vote for my daddy. I have a right in America to vote for who I want to, and I'm not a racist. You see what they do on the left. If you're not lined up with them, this is what they do in communist countries and socialist countries. You line up with us, or you're going to be brought down to your knees. Which ain't a bad place to praise the good Lord. But Juan Williams, right there, 47, and by the way, this was registered voters mean, you realize Fox ran a poll with registered voters. You know it means nothing. It's likely voters. People that vote all the time. Registered voters don't mean anything. We got so many people registered to vote because of the driver's license and stuff like that. They don't care about voting. I got to sit here and listen, and this is why America, black and white, ought to stand up against this Democrat Party, who's the party of hate and evil, filth. This is who they are. This is who they become. So now I got to sit here and listen. I'm a racist. Wait till you hear what Oprah Winfrey said about you and me. Who are these people who look the other way when the candidate tell a bold lie about black immigrants eating mostly white Ohio town cats and dogs? By the way, Trump never mentioned anything about the color of the people. You see, all this illegal stuff turns into racism, too, because there's nothing in the Democrat Party playbook. Racism, 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 racism. And it always comes up. When what? When elections are there. It still is a winning word to use, unfortunately, in America. And who keeps it going? It's the same people who have ruined a lot of black people's lives. The same so-called black leaders and the pastors and the politicians and the writers and people like Oprah Winfrey, actor or movie, whatever she does. They're the ones hurting people. They're the ones hurting the black community, not people that vote for Trump. By the way, the Ohio town cats and dogs, a lot of that stuff's true. It was true before they got there. How can it be that not a soul among the 48% cares that Trump's vice president pick, J.D. Vance, says it's okay to create racist lies about immigrants eating pets so the American media actually pays attention? See, folks, racism. How can 48% of the voters back candidates who says immigrants coming from infested places are poisoning the blood of our country? They are infested places. They had why didn't they change their community? Why didn't they change their country? Because it's socialist Marxism, Juan Williams. The same thing you want to do. They want to create a country like Venezuela. It's just snowflakes who notice when one of Trump's close allies says the White House smells like curry. I mean, they just, all this stuff. Basically insulting you and me and never challenging what Barack Obama and the Democrats have done to the black voters in this country by shoving them into the cities, throwing a little holding no money at them and saying, hey, we taking care of y'all, vote for us. Now they want everybody to live like the inner city people live. This is what Juan Williams wants. You ain't going to prosper a country by getting everybody in line, and you can't disagree. I don't disagree with Kamala Harris because she's black. I disagree with Kamala Harris because what she says and what she wants to do to the country. I don't care that Kamala Harris is black. If Donald Trump was black and he was believing in the same thing he did the first time, I'm with Trump. This doesn't make any sense, folks, but this is what they always do, always do, always do. Run back to racism. And I don't feel guilty for anything because I never had a slave in my dang life. I don't have anything against anybody. The people that we ought to be concentrating on, who are the ones that kept people down and poor? It's the Democrat Party. Barack Obama was president for 8 years, right? Why didn't he cure the city ailments? Why didn't he get everybody out of poverty? Why didn't he do this, folks? He gets a free ride. He went 8 years as president of the United States, and it's worse now than it's ever been. In the last 16 years of presidency, we had 8 for the legendary satanic Obama and Biden, who's Obama's still running, and now they want Harris. And you're going to blame Trump? Blacks were doing better. Hispanics were doing better. Women were doing better. But Juan Williams ain't got nothing else to write. I can't believe we got to do something. Look in the playbook. Page 1, racism. Page 2, racism. Page 3, racism. Page 4, racism. The whole thing's racism. That's all they got. And yet the people that are poor and uneducated, white, black, green, yellow, all these people coming in, they're leaving the poorest country in the world. If they make our country and help make it poor, then they're going to be in the same boat as everybody else. That doesn't make any sense to me. We got illegals coming over here, and Juan Williams don't care. We don't have money for them. We're $36 trillion in the hole, for God's sakes. Our healthcare system can't handle it. But that's what Obama really wanted, not to handle it where the government can handle it, where you get in line and you look up ahead of you and you got 19 illegals ahead of you and you're an older 75, 85 years old. I don't know how old my next door neighbor is, but you got these people. We don't get in line about, well, how they get in here? Oh, they came from Honduras. They need to get in line before you. Well, hold up, I've been a taxpayer for 70 years, so what? This is not the country we were supposed to have. You come here legally. I mean, this is crazy, but what does Juan Williams do? No, racism. It's insulting. Look what why don't they just stop and back up and say, okay, we had the legendary, great Barack Obama. We had Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer running the House, running the Senate. Let's go drive around the inner cities and take pictures and take film and see what the great Democratic Party did for blacks. They're going to do the same thing for the people, illegals coming across. They're going to keep you poor, uneducated. As long as you vote for them. I mean, the lady, I forget the singer, that started abortion, she started abortion to wipe out blacks. You can't tell Democrats. They even said this is what they did. And here they are still debating and keeping up with killing babies, and 2/3 of the abortion houses are where? Where? In the inner cities. We know abortion, they said, was invented by Democrats to take out the black population. I didn't make it, by the way. Don't get mad at me. I'm telling you what history shows. Don't get mad at me. The Democrat Party has no plans to get blacks to prosper. And if you're sitting around waiting for reparations and that ever happens, we're done. You're not going to have any money because it ain't going to buy anything. The Democrat Party uses and abuses the minorities to no end. They're going to use and abuse the illegals, too, to stay in power, and they hurt everybody. And yet Ron Williams It's calling you and me. This ain't about Trump. This is about you and me. The 48%, you bunch of worthless pieces of trash, according to Ron Williams, if you vote for Trump. Forget what Kamala believes. She can't answer a question. Okay? She don't want to answer a question. She believes in Marxism. Her daddy was a Marxist. But we're racist. When we get back, I got a quick clip on Oprah Winfrey, y'all's hero, not mine, never has been. This is just election year. We got to bring up race. They're the ones crushing the minorities, crushing them. And yet, blame the Republicans. But tell me, let the inner city people come tell me how great it's been being a Democrat. I'd like to hear that. We'll be right back. Oh, Shucks, you've been hearing me brag about Shucks. Been going there for many, many years. Shucks does a great job. If you like seafood, you got to go to Shucks in Abbeville. I'm telling you right now, there's shrimp, there's oysters, there's fish, all fresh every day right off the boat. So if you want something fresh and you want fresh seafood, you got to go to Shucks. Don't forget, if you're having a party, call Shucks. Let them cater the event for you. Or you can go pick it up. Shucks, they're waiting on you. If you want a great time and you want great food, you got to go to Shucks in Abbeville. Shucks, they're good.
The sun has never raised its rates, but your local energy company sure has. Solar Louisiana can install residential home solar systems with huge battery storage, or they can add batteries to your existing system. If there's an outage, you're sitting pretty with all the electricity you need. Imagine an electric bill so low, you can pay it with pocket change you find in the couch. Solar Louisiana has the experience you need to make the right decision. Online at solarlouisiana.net. Your energy independence company, Solar Louisiana.
If you've got some projects to do around the house and you need the voice of experience, of local voice, somebody that can help you and knows Louisiana, you need to check out Stein Home & Yard. They're a Louisiana company, founded, established here. They've been based here. Their story dates back all the way to 1946. Stein Home & Yard has all the things you need to make your house ready for fall. Great deals on fall plants like mums, as well as all sorts of handy items you need for your house. Need to upgrade your power tool game? They've got great deals on DeWalt power tools. They also have great deals on grills for your next tailgate for the big game this weekend. Traeger pellet grills, Weber grills, Charbroil, so many great brands, and it's all right there at your fingertips. Just pull them up, steinhome.com. Steinhome.com is where you need to go to find the greatest deals on your home improvement needs. Steinhome.com, a great Louisiana company.
Come in and try the good.
Looking for uncommon talent? Meet the Grads of Life. They're not the typical candidates you're used to, but they're exactly who your company needs. An ideal fit for entry-level positions, internships, and even mentorships. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn more. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Atlas Foundation Repair, 800-256-1010. Louisiana-owned Atlas Foundation Repair, 800-256-1010. Call Tony Arpino. I have known him for years. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great day to be with you. It's Tuesday, terrific Tuesday on the Moon Griffon Show. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline, 844-766-6607. You can email me, moon@moongriffon.com. So, Juan Williams starts the racism. So in America, you cannot vote for somebody who's white. You have to vote for somebody who's not white. And if you do that, then you're an American. I mean, you are not a racist. And it's widespread racism if you're voting for Trump. You know, Henry, what was the Byrd fella? Senator Byrd was there forever. He was a king wizard of the KKK, but since he was a Democrat, it was okay. He was able to, they let him go with it. It wasn't no problem. You know, you can say anything you want to if you're a Democrat. Do whatever you want to as long as you vote. And I will say it again, the Democrats, through some pastors, elected officials, black elected officials, have really misused the black vote to no end. You can get mad at me for saying the truth, but I'm going to say the truth. And that's the truth. And it's unfortunate that other people are being blamed for what they've really done to people. And they actually have done some of this stuff. So So now Oprah Winfrey's turn, and everybody knows Oprah's worth billions of dollars, and she gives money, and she did a talk show host and movie act, whatever else she did to make all the money. That's good. I'm glad for her. But I want you to listen to what she says. Basically, it's about Trump voters, basically about white people, and basically about racism. What has to happen to us for this thing to straighten up? Listen to these comments.
Generations of people, older people, who were born and bred and marinated in it, in that prejudice and racism, and they just have to die.
Reboot it up again. This is Oprah Winfrey.
Generations of people, older people, who were born and bred and marinated in it, in that prejudice and racism, and they just have to die.
Oprah Winfrey's. All we have to do is die. You know what? I grew up in a family, okay? I was never inbred with a damn thing that Oprah Winfrey said, neither was my daddy. Never. I played basketball. I was the only white guy in the gym sometimes. Maybe my daddy or mama. I remember being a young kid in the 60s. I'm going to tell this story. I've told this story before. This was the typical white person back then. People that were racist, God's going to handle them. We're so far removed from this term, from most of the stuff that we go through, but yet they got to cling it like I'm getting tired of being called a racist for no reason. Prove it. I've had more people call this program in 31 years and it's accused me of being a racist. I proved it. I quit the program. And, it went away. The term racism means nothing anymore. Can we just throw it out there where the Democrats throw it out there? I remember, I don't know if I was 5 or 6, whatever. Well, I was born in 61. 8, whatever. I don't really remember my age, but I do remember this. My mom was a nurse. My daddy worked at Dow Chemical. He was a Dow Chemical employee for 35 years. Had a lot of shooting and it was a rough time. And there was a black guy that showed up on the back of my daddy's house, at my house, with 5 kids. And I remember my daddy helping a black guy who was shot. Daddy didn't know how he was shot. He didn't know if he was shot. He was in a fight. He didn't know if he was a thug or a great Christian man. He didn't know none of that about the man. And they got that man in there on our little dinner table in our little 1,200 square foot home that we lived in. And I watched him stop the bleeding of a black man. Racists wouldn't have done that, Oprah. And I remember them stopping the bleeding and wrapping him good and then getting him into my daddy's truck. And my daddy drove him to the emergency room at a hospital. And back then, we're talking about the 60s. They worked on him, got the bullet out or scraped. I don't know if he was cut, but it was a bullet shot. And I remember my daddy paying the bill. Racists doesn't do that, Oprah. And that is most of white people. I'm sick of hearing this crap because you like Trump, you're a racist because Kamala ain't white. Sick of it. I'll be right back.
My husband and I were invited to a 50th wedding anniversary. I noticed this little lady, and she was basically sitting alone. Her daughter turned to me just as I came over to introduce myself, and she said, "My mother has Alzheimer's." She had not said her daughter's name in 2 years. She didn't recognize her. I said, "Listen, we might be able to help her." And about 3 weeks later, they show up. We gave her 5 days of treatment. This lady, each day got a little better and a little better. She started flirting with the guys. She was so cute. My friend said, "You're smiling a lot." And she said, "They make those here." The next day, says out loud, "Martha, would you get me a cup of coffee, please?" Her daughter, Martha, breaks down crying because her mother hadn't said her name in 2 years.
Learn more about treatment for Alzheimer's at SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com. Springfield Wellness Center.
I've been bragging about Dino Hardwoods for a long time. A good friend, Charles Altman. They do an excellent job. And if you're looking for unique or hard-to-find hardwood lumber, plywood, and molding is Dino Hardwoods. That's where you need to go. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com. Trust Dino Hardwoods for all your hardwood lumber and cypress needs. With the holiday season fast approaching, as you know, a timeless handmade gift using quality lumber by Dino just means more. With 3 great locations to serve you now, Broussard, Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana, and now he's expanded in Tyler, Texas. Folks, there's something for every discerning woodworker at Dino. Go to DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com, and check out the unique and hard-to-find hardwood, lumber, plywood, and molding that you can't just find anywhere. Charles Altman, trust me, is not a better man in the business. He knows what he's doing, and he wants to service you. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com.
Shop Hyde's Market. Join parents and experts at Understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues designed to help you help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything. Brought to you by Understood.org and the Ad Council.
My suit can still make an impression.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill, it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at Goodwill.org. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. You know, it's America. You have a right to vote for Kamala Harris if you want to. I think she's a Marxist, socialist, communist built in the Obama regime. You have a right to vote for her. I ain't got to call you nut. You have a right to vote for her. And whatever happens to the country at this point, it's on you. I have to live through it, but it's okay. I watched Trump be president. Trump turned this economy to a great economy. We went away from the Green New Deal. We went to energy independent. We went away from a false lie and hope. He fought China. He tried to build a wall. Democrats and the media fought him all the way. Judges fought him all the way. And look what we got now. People coming across here, people being raped, killed, drugs coming across the kill. If you want Kamala Harris, that's what you're going to continue to get. Kamala Harris loves illegals, and she loves for them to come over here, and she don't care if they thugs or terrorists. She doesn't care. She doesn't care if the debt keeps running up. She doesn't care the prices. She don't. When people ask her questions about prices, she can't even answer a question. I, as an American citizen, if you have a right to vote for her, I have a right to reject her and vote for Donald Trump. And I'm not voting for Donald Trump because he's a racist, and I'm not a racist. So when Juan Williams and them and Oprah Winfrey, when we all die, this country's going to be great. So how many of you people think we're better off than we were 4 years ago? How many people think we head in the right direction in this country? How many people think we're going to be great if we have no borders? How many people think we're going to be great if fentanyl keeps killing hundreds of thousands of people? How many think we think it's going to be great that China will own us 1 year and they're a communist country? You know, I mean, so I'm supposed to vote like Juan Williams to prove I'm not a racist? We already did that. It was called Barack Obama. I thought we already went through this. We never will go through this. We're going to go through it every day, every election, because it's all they got. So I'm supposed to be here and be insulted by Juan Williams and Oprah Winfrey? God have mercy. And look, I'm only telling y'all what most Americans feel. Black and white. I'm just flabbergasted how you can keep using the same terms and keep getting elected. What do you think Kamala Harris is going to do for this country? It's not what she's going to do for the country, it's going to do to the country, and I don't want that to happen. Nothing to do with racism. Oprah Winfrey said, we got to die off. Then what we're going to have, Oprah? We're going to be more like Venezuela or Cuba. We're going to be more like who? Canada? We're going to be more like China, Iran, or Iraq. Why don't you tell people what utopia we're going to be like? Because I want to know from Oprah and Obama what you're trying to be like, where we're going to be different. You're not going to be different. There's capitalism and a free society, or there's bondage. A free country or bondage. Jesus or Satan. Which one do you want to be? There's no in between. There's nothing else. There's not a new government coming to rescue people. See, these people get a free ride because nobody takes them to task. I'm not a national talk show host, but I'd be taking them to task right now. I'm not saying Bongino and the rest of them are not doing that. That's not what I'm saying at all. They are. So what am I supposed to be, folks? Do you want to be free moon? To go be the best you can be, even if you fall on your rear end, and you take a chance of being great things happening to you, or you want to go over here and get in bondage. Bondage to the government. Bondage to their satanic ways of doing things. Sending these people back and forth, flying them across the country. People being raped, young girls being raped. I had a story today. Golly, let me see if I can find it. U.S. homeless population growing as migrants flood major cities. Watch what's going to happen in the cities, folks. Feds arrest accused Haitian sex offenders after Boston area officials release him. Boston caught him, released him. Migrant crime comes to Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, playgrounds for rich and famous. Each suspect that ICE has arrested over there where the rich people live, Obama and them, have arrested on islands over the last month, been charged with sex crimes, mainly against minors. That's Kamala Harris. That's Barack Obama. And because I do not vote for Kamala Harris, I'm a racist? It just... Folks, this ought to fly. This ought to get people that are black, too, mad as hell at what they're doing. It really should. I mean, I'm just letting you know. All right, here is, I can't reject Kamala Harris and vote for Trump because of every policy. She's wrong on almost every single policy, on the economy, on taxes, on health care, on illegals. She's wrong. She's wrong for America. On the Green New Deal, she is wrong for America. She would be perfect for Cuba. She's wrong on America. Barack Obama was wrong on America. That's why I'm voting against him. It has nothing to do with race. I'll give you an example. I think this is the one, Walker. I hope I'm right. This is the one to ask about how we're going to get prices down. Okay? How are we going to get prices down? Just a simple question, and I'm supposed to vote for her because I got to hate Trump because I'm a racist. A simple question. Listen.
We really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah. First of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been.
Wow.
And we need to deal with that. And there are a number of ways. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities, including groceries.
Boy, that is, I mean, I'm supposed to vote for that. I'm a racist because I'm not voting for that. Look, this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with all over the country. I'm a racist because I'm not voting for that woman who the person asks, wait, how you going to bring these prices down? Because everybody's hurting across the board, and their answer is, I don't know. I don't really give a damn about you. But I got to be nice, and we got to get prices up. How? Tell us how. How you going to do this? Is it print more money? Is it more Green New Deal, new electric cars? Tell me how you going to do it. She don't have to answer anything. And we're supposed to vote for her. And if you don't vote for her, you're racist, according to Juan Williams and Oprah Winfrey. Like, she's never done anything wrong. I'm just new. I just want to make everybody smile, joy, and happy. Just happy, everybody happy. I don't think you can be happy if somebody illegally came across the country, got thrown out 3 times, and came in and raped an 11-year-old girl. I'm sorry. I don't think I'd be happy about that. Would you be happy about that? I don't think it'd be happy when you came by groceries at the store, Kamala. I'm not happy about what you did. They act like Kamala Harris is running for office, and she's never been around. She's brand new, and look at all the great things she's done. And I'm a racist if I don't vote for that. You call me what the hell you want to, because I'm not voting for that. She may win, and I'll have to live under the craziness that we headed to. I lose my mind to know that woman could win. It has nothing to do with her skin color. It's what's coming out of her mouth, because out of the mouth the heart speaks, and she speaks nothing. She was celebrating getting people out, and these illegals out of court cases. Go and bail them out of jail. Black Lives Matter. Burn something down. We get you out of jail. Don't worry about it. It's a sin and a shame. So we being called racist. From people who know better, by the way. And Oprah Winfrey said, when everybody dies off, oh, man, you wait till what this country's going to be when everybody dies off, all these people with this racism in. Folks, there's not a whole lot of racism going out there, but they got to keep it going because it's a moneymaker and it's a winning way of elections. I'm not voting for Kamala Harris. I don't care how white, black, green, or yellow she is. Her policies are un-American. They're ungodly, too. They're anti-Christian. They're anti-United States of America. That's a fact. I could care less what color her skin is or where she comes from. And most people feel just like I do. I just wish everybody voted that way. We got to take a break. 844-766-6607. Be right back. Nestled in gently rolling hills in North Louisiana is a place that produces the finest Louisiana wines around, Landry Vineyards. This place is phenomenal. Not only are they passionate about growing wine grapes and making Landry Vineyards wine, they also have cottages and RV sites you can rent, tours, and live music on Saturdays and tastings Monday through Saturday. Available in over 650 stores throughout Louisiana, I encourage you to visit and try Landry wine direct from Landry Vineyards. This is another great Louisiana company that has my full support, and they're Louisiana certified. A red blend they labeled Bayoutage, Blackberry Merlot, Cabs, Rosé, Petite Syrah, dry and sweet whites, and many, many other wines. Learn more about their wines and their vineyard online at LandryVineyards.com. This is Moon Griffon. My lovely bride and I love the wines from this great Louisiana company, Landry Vineyards, and so will you. Go visit their beautiful winery and find them in your local grocery store. If they don't have Landry Vineyards wine, ask and ask again. LandryVineyards.com. Woo, good wine right here. With 5 locations, I always make it a point to visit Superior Grill. I love the food there. It's authentic Mexican food with a Louisiana twist. That menu has all your favorites: nachos, quesadillas, enchiladas, tacos, fajitas, hand-cut steaks, and the best margaritas in the state. You go to Superior for lunch or dinner, and folks, you're going to thank me for it. My lovely bride and I eat at Superior Grill every chance we get. They're on Line Avenue in Shreveport, Government Street, and Holland Road in Baton Rouge, and they're on St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans. But look, their new location in Lafayette is now open. Lafayette, you've been clamoring for it, and now they are open on College Saloon. I want to see Superior Grill packed with folks from Acadiana. The best Mexican food with a Louisiana twist is found at Superior Grill. Shreveport, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans, and now Acadiana on College Saloon in Lafayette. This is Moon Griffon. I will see you at Superior Grill.
Chestnut Brothers on.
I'm Shanola Hampton. Every day, millions of people face hunger. Today, I will share with you some of their experiences. I'm stuck between paying for medications or paying for food. John from Maine. After paying my bills, I can buy groceries. It's sad to say, food comes last. Alice from Oregon. I thought pantries were for less fortunate people, but anybody could be less fortunate in a day or even a second. Claire from Virginia. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Hello, welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. And a little excited today. Just can't believe what I'm seeing sometimes. 844-766-6607, Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, you can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. I get excited sometimes, folks, because I try to understand things, and when I don't understand something, being called a racist when you're not, I wonder what the definition of racism is. And it's probably either an act of doing something or an act of not doing something when you should have done something. So if you've not done anything to hurt anybody, okay, and you helped anybody you could help, where's the racism come in? Well, it's just what they're going to do. They have nothing else in the playbook. They got to call it. But to think about Juan Williams and Oprah, okay, we get down to this lady. Some people say she's black, Indian, whatever. I don't care. Because that don't matter to me. Okay, that's all right. I can read it. Don't worry about it. Because I don't know exactly where it is in there. No, never mind. Walk, don't worry about it. So, anyway, let me give you another example why I can't vote for Kamala Harris. Now, Kamala Harris, everybody knows Second Amendment right is a God-given right that was given us, and thank God because thank God it was. And so we all know that we have that right. So one of the biggest dreadful things you could think of is them come and take your guns, right? Kamala Harris once said police could pay surprise visits to legal gun owners' homes for safe storage checks. Now, she said that. As a San Francisco district attorney, Kamala Harris told legal gun owners in her community that authorities could walk into their homes to inspect whether they were storing their firearm property on the new law she helped draft. We're going to require responsible behaviors among everybody in the community. And just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into your home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in a way you conduct your affairs. Harris told that in 2007. I'm supposed to vote for Kamala Harris? She's going to not. Mr. Griffon, we want to make sure you're storing your guns properly. Well, don't store them properly. I got a loaded up gun in my house. It's ready to fire. If the wrong person comes in my house and hurt my family. Now, this is Kamala Harris, so I'm supposed to. Do you have it? How long is it? Okay, let me. Walker says he thinks we got the audio on this. Let's play it. Go.
Responsible behaviors among everybody in the community, and just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs.
Have you heard from?
Okay, now I'm a racist because I don't want to vote for a woman like that that's going to walk in my home. And I tell you something about it. I got a theory on these illegals because they're deputizing and making some of them policemen. And Barack Obama wanted a military force inside this country. And Kamala Harris came up with the second. We need a military force to protect illegals. telling you, blacks, listen to me. This woman doesn't care about you except for your vote. And my philosophy and what I believe will happen is if a person like this can become president, it's all Barack Obama still, but it becomes president, they'll deputize and give good jobs. They'll find thugs and people like that are illegal, deputize them. They don't got a problem walking in your house saying we taking your guns. Why? They're not Americans. And they don't understand the code of law and what we try to do here. They tell me what I'm reading, the sex crimes from some of these people. Some, I didn't say all, it's phenomenal. Because they're used to doing that in other countries and getting away with it. Well, play this again. Now, look, Kamala Harris, if you're a gun owner, 99.9% of everybody owns a gun are law-abiding gun citizens and gun owners. 99.9%. And this is, listen, real close to what Kamala Harris said. Listen to this.
Responsible behaviors among everybody in the community, and just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs.
Have you heard from... Okay, so if I'm being a nice citizen and Kamala's army, Barack Obama's army happened to hear that Moon's got 19 guns or 29 guns, whatever, well, let's go see if he's being responsible. Yes, sir. Can I help you? Yeah, we need to check your house for your guns. Get out of my house. What's going to happen then, Kamala? She don't care, really. They need examples of people. They're going to make examples of people. Juan Williams and Oprah says, I'm a racist because I'm not voting for that. I'm not voting between what's between her ears and her heart is what I'm not voting for. I could care less what she looks outside. I could care less the color of her skin. Make it racist. You got to make it racist. You got to make it racist. This is what we're fighting against, folks. And young people don't have a clue about what I'm talking about. Not all. A lot of young people don't. They believe in global warming. They believe man gonna stop hurricanes. They mean bland man. Just think, though, right now, Walker, they've already predicted what a hurricane was going to hit before it was named a hurricane. I don't even know if it's named a hurricane yet. I hadn't looked. So if in 3 days it's going to hit, today's 2 more days it's going to hit. It's going to go real fast. So if we all had electric vehicles and we really don't never know where they're going to hit, you better start leaving now. Because you ain't getting everybody out in 24 hours. It's going to take about 4 days to get everybody out with an electric vehicle. That's what young people believe. I'm not voting for Kamala Harris. I can sit there and just keep thinking of the ways why Kamala Harris shouldn't, if she's going to be president, make it be Cuba. She's going to now go into people's homes. A law-abiding, just because you're a law-abiding citizen and a gun owner, don't think we can't come in there and knock on your door and make sure you're storing them right. Well, let me tell you something. A stored gun, every gun in your house is stored with no bullets in it. And when somebody breaks into your house, you can't tell them, would you hold up till I get my gun out the safe and get my bullets loaded? Ain't gonna work. Yes, I'm a thug, but I'll give you a chance. Don't work that way. Kamala Harris, she shouldn't get a vote. The black community, the Hispanic community, legal citizens that should vote, shouldn't vote for somebody like this. She's going to take away everything you love and dream. There's no American dream in Kamala's world. Their dream of what you're going to do is going to be what they're going to make you do. That's what their dream is for America. Barack Obama, fundamentally transform America to what? From a free country, you're either free or you're not. There is no in between. So we're going to take it from a free country. I take it they want a police state. Oh, Obama wants a police state. Well-funded military inside the deal. I just can't tell you. It disgusts me to see articles and Oprah Winfrey and people getting publicity on this kind of stuff. Anyway, we got to take a break. Another hour to go for you leaving us. God bless. MoonGriffon.com. Listen live. Another hour. And the rest of you have a great day.
For the absolute best in local Cajun food, check out Prejean's in their 2 locations in Carencro and Broussard today.